Hi, I'm Peter Haddock and I'm here at the Molson Group Open Day, well, Open Week actually. And Robin, you're here today with the team showing a lot of your customers what's the latest and greatest, and also having that opportunity to get to talk to people about real world problems and their challenges. And part of the thing that we're going to be talking about now are all of those different elements that bring the Molson Group together. First time I've ever been and experienced this type of event with Molson, and I'm sure it won't be the last. So Robin, first of all, tell everybody out there, who are you and what's your role and how long have you been with the Molson business?
Morning, Peter. Thank you. I'm CEO of Molson Group, and I've been with the company since I founded it in 1995. We started with a pickup truck and a trailer, and things have grown
a little bit.
They have. So, my role really these days is setting the strategic direction of the business and working with the team to ensure that we achieve the full potential of the operation, Peter.
And I think one of these things that you've done, and it sort of stands out, is, we're walking through a load of Kobelco excavators at the moment. You've got those relationships with the big global brands, but equally we're looking past Strickland buckets, and we've got an attachment area which we're going to see later on. It's actually not a business that's a dealership of kit as such, it's more bringing everything together. And I was talking to one of your customers the other day, and they're saying, well, we asked Molson if they could stock this product because we want to buy it, but we want the backup. And that's what's really important, isn't it?
Yeah, we noticed a change in the industry. I'm beginning to think 10 to 15 years ago, where most of our customers were becoming multidisciplinary. And they were asking us, they said they liked our support and the way we work as a business and how close we are to our customers, but they were asking us for a broader breadth of product. But we could see opportunities from our perspective, have a unique position in the marketplace, something different to our competitors' offering. We just started to build on that, and it's been very, very successful. A lot of our customers are really happy to buy from a smaller number of suppliers. Peter, it's been a really successful operation. That.
And I think what's really interesting for me as well is we talk about people moving earth, right? That's their job, to move the earth, or quarrying companies, it's their job to just sell the product, the stone. So they don't want to have to do all of the actual elements of processing and things like that themselves. They want to try and say, look, can we outsource all of that to other organizations, but can we also have a solution that's matched? So your fleet matching, your technology matching, and that sort of one section of people to call. And that's, again, how the development of the industry's gone, isn't it?
Yeah, we're seeing customers using so many different products across such a broad spectrum, and the simplicity of dealing with Molson and being able to buy the vast proportion of what their requirements are from the one place, and knowing that they're going to get the right level of support. They get the opportunity to leverage their buying power with us. We can't afford for any one of our products not to make the grade, because they will then start to impair on our relationship with the customer and the other products we have. So we have got to support every one of our products to 100% level and make sure that we are supplying our customers with the service and support that they need.
What's interesting for me though as well is it's not just the big stuff, the big variety that we've got here. We just walked past Hydrema and Thwaites dumpers as well, but what really excites me is how you're looking at things like the Husqvarna robots here and that we've got behind us, and how you're saying, right, well actually we can do some clever stuff as well, and the little niche stuff that really makes a difference.
Well, Peter, I'm glad you brought that up. It's part of what we're being asked to do by our customers. They're saying to us, we do this, this and this, but we need this as well. So, the Husqvarna robots, as you mentioned here, we sell a lot of high reach demolition equipment for Kobelco to the largest and most successful demolition contractors in the country. Well, they also use robotic decommissioning systems. So we definitely needed something to offer them in that space. Now, we don't limit ourselves at Molson with our beliefs. I've spoken to people in the past who say, well, I'm a crushing expert, or I'm an excavator expert, or well, what we're supplying is diesel, electric, hydraulic. We've got to supply support network, we've got to deal with warranty, we've got to supply parts. Now, when you start breaking it down like that, I don't understand why it can't be a part for a hydraulic excavator or a part for a hydraulic crusher.
Yeah.
I don't see any real differential in that. It is complex, and it does require to be able to sell from a 1,000-pound Amman plate compactor to a 420-ton Xenobogan 895 port handler,
which yes, I saw yesterday, which is an impressive bit of kit. You know, it took 4 days to actually build it.
They're monster machines. They literally are, and you know, we're approaching sort of £4 million a unit. So it's really big stuff. Yet we're also able to sell the small stuff. Now, in order to do that, you've got to have some very advanced data systems and some very advanced technology.
Yep.
So we've invested many millions of pounds in our digital business control system.
Yep.
So you might call it an ERP system, but that's a very small part of what we've got. So it's ERP, it's e-commerce store, an aggregated telematics platform, because we don't deal with just one manufacturer. We deal with over 30 significant manufacturers. So we needed to be able to provide our customers with the data and information they need about their fleet, which is not drawn from one telematic source. It's drawn from every telematic source that is available. And there, basically, we've developed our own telematic system called Fleet Command.
And it's right here, folks. Let's turn ourselves around. You know, the Fleet Command, you know, I talked to the experts yesterday about this. Data is great. So we've had data for a long, long time now, folks, but nobody's used it properly.
Well,
you know,
absolutely.
And it's not the right data going to the right person that's responsible for the right thing on the right project either. And that's critical, isn't it?
I think the industry was promised a data revolution nearly 20 years ago with telematics.
Yep.
And what we got was data. And we've got a lot of data, and that's great. But what we really need is information.
Yep.
And with information, then you can start to make informed decisions. And we can do things like reduce our fuel burn.
Yep.
And improve our carbon output. We can be efficient. The ESG agenda is very important to Molson. And people say to me, well, you know, you sell about 3,000 diesel engines a year. How is that a green business? Well, by employing data and information that we can get from the digital products we've developed, such as Fleet Command, allow us to have a bigger impact than, for example, deciding we're going paperless in an office in London. Okay, so you can save 1 lorry load of paper a year. That's great. We're selling technology that is allowing our customers to reduce the amount of carbon that these diesel engines that we supply and are necessary to build our environment and to keep our economy running. We are selling technology that it improves significantly the efficiency of these engines.
So when we're talking about this, folks, and we come over here because what's really interesting with Fleet Command is not just the fact that it gives the data and everything else, it also links quite nicely to the Molson parts piece, because what we're talking about here is we're letting Molson talk to the machines directly. So the machines are saying, hey Molson, you know, we've been having a great time out there, we're doing lots of digging, but we're feeling a little unwell. You know, so let's
might be time for a breather.
Yeah,
let's have a service.
Let's have a service, let's get out there. Or I'm feeling a bit broken, you know, or my GET is a bit well worn out. So therefore, you know, we've got that link between that data and that information that's coming out, not just from idle times and fuel burn, but also the health of the machine, which then links directly into the parts team to be able to get those parts there. And so I ordered a part, well, I pretended to order a part, folks, before 3 o'clock yesterday, and it arrived. And therefore, the next day, and therefore, wherever we are in the UK, we've therefore got those parts and that service. And your national network is really important for that support as well, isn't it?
Peter, you could have done it, you did it at 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, you could have done it at 12 o'clock last night online. And the part may not have been dispatched that night, but you can order your parts 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at Molson. When you've got a little bit of downtime, you can log on, you'll see the schematics in the way that you're used to seeing them in your parts catalogue. And then you just drill through, put them in your basket, the same as you would do on a normal e-commerce site, such as Amazon or such like. Press the button, it will bill it to your account, you'll get your discount, your normal discount applied to the account, and we'll dispatch the parts. Now, we link the machines that you've bought from us by serial number to your account, so we're going to reduce the amount of poor fill.
Yeah.
So you're going to order the part for the machine you've got, not the machine you thought you had, or not the machine the parts operative thought you had. So we'll significantly reduce the amount of human interaction in the parts ordering process. But we don't intend to reduce heads in our parts department. What we want to do is we want to make more time and space for those folks in the parts department to deal with the key matters, such as difficult parts, parts that are difficult to source, any forms of any kind of issues, and offering support and advice.
And I think that's where it comes in, because if we come over here, folks, you know, the other thing that what I haven't actually spoken to one of your experts about yet is also how we look at not just the machines, but the safety elements of keeping people and plant interface away from each other. So again, what we see behind us here is your brand new system, the AI safety system. And I think, you know, as we move into the industry with a lot more complex things, tilt rotators, machine control from the likes of like a Geosystem,
and full digital site solutions.
Yeah, the connected assets, the connected sites, 3D models, blah, blah, blah. We can remove people from the plant interface, but sometimes there's got to be people around to do some of the jobs. So
it's the nature of what we do.
Them when they're actually, you know, working on a trench, or they're doing something where they have to be near the machine in a safe way. And again, that's where technology can play a part. So it keeps the operator looking out of the window to do their job, not having to worry about, you know, constantly flicking around to see if there's anybody there.
And part of the key thoughts in Molson about how we develop our technology is that we have managed to gain scale as a dealer, which allows us to invest in this technology from the perspective of the operator, the people who are using the technology. It's not a software house that's built something and decided, oh, we can sell it to this market. It's driven by the customer's real world requirements. And that's where the PPI AI came from. We were talking with a company about some automated machine operation. And we were helping them. We provided them with a dump truck and some expertise. And they're market leaders in automated mining equipment. They wanted to do some auto steering bits and pieces, so we were doing that. They supply a lot of the. They actually supply a lot of the car industry, automatic driving equipment for testing the cars. But all of a sudden we realised their technology that they were using for their automated car driving, it's perfect.
A light bulb moment.
Yes, indeed. And we were able to even change their direction of product development. Yes, here's the market. This is an opportunity. Right, okay. So we worked in conjunction with them, but it's a real world solution. And that's what we're about at Molson, really, is understanding what our customers do and then trying to identify how we can assist them.
And this is the other thing that comes from me here is Molson is now a big business. Okay, so big businesses.
It's getting there. It's getting
what
there.
I like to see is we talked about ESG. So come over here, folks, because what's really exciting for me when I come around the whole area here is actually what you're doing. You know, I've even got my own spray painted hat, folks, from yesterday. What we're actually doing here is we're looking at how Molson as a business can support the different charities that are in the different regions. So here, again, North East Depot's charity, the Red Sky Foundation, we've got St Peter's Hospice, which is the southwest. We've got, you know, Doddy, which is coming from Scotland, and we've also got, you know, my region in the Midlands here, where, you know, the Veteran Support Centre. All charities that you are supporting, but doing it again in the way you support your customers, region by region, and therefore what matters the most to your people, which is really important, isn't it? It has that sense of giving back whilst actually, you know, supporting the local need for a particular charity.
Well, and allowing our team members to engage with something that's dear to them and close to their heart. We're not really too big on corporate speak at Molson, but one of the buzzwords at the moment around commerce is ESG, environmental social governance. So as a large organisation, our governance is pretty strong. That's fine. We have that ticked off. We're well organised in that space. Environmental, we've talked about how we're leveraging data to make a genuine, real, significant impact in that space. ESG highlighted the importance of this to our investors and our customers, all the stakeholders. as we focused on this social thing and tried to understand what it was about, we realised that it's actually part of Molson, and it's been part of Molson from the very beginning.
Right. Yeah.
And I look at St Peter's Hospice there. That's something that we've been involved with for 25 years. We do a fair bit with Macmillan nurses, because that was led by a team member who had engaged with Macmillan, and that Macmillan has supported her mother with some palliative care, end of life care, and it was really important to her. And she came to me 15 years ago and said, "Can I have a coffee morning?" I'm like, "Yes, we can have a coffee morning." Yeah. But that's been the DNA of Molson. That's what we do. It was only natural to us. But as ESG becomes more prevalent in commerce, we were able to articulate it in a way that was more understandable.
And I think, then when people can see the value that comes from that, what we are sort of then saying is that the more successful you become, the more things like that you can do and get involved with. And again, we're a very collaborative industry, and one of the things.
Well, sorry, Peter. As you say that, I'm reminded about one of our biggest social engagement programs, HIZS.
Yes, of course.
And HIZS, you say, as you get bigger, you can have more impact. So, with HIZS, which is a program run by Premiership Rugby, which tends to engage primarily young males who are on the verge of making poor, as it's described to me as poor life decisions,
right?
And maybe had come to the attention of the plod, the police. Well, they then get taken out of the education system effectively, and given some really intense access to the Premiership Rugby teams, and really much closer engagement. So on almost one adult to 3 children type affair. So, but they were running the HIZS programs. That was going well. But at the end of the HIZS program, nothing was occurring. There was no future pathway.
Yeah. So we've almost had the rugby game there. Where you've done all that. You've done all the support for people. But then what happens later? You've got that euphoria of getting all of that one-to-one, that understanding that people do care about you and want to help you change the way in which you live your life. And then, I found out yesterday that that stopped, but actually something else started, didn't it?
We started to engage with Bristol Sport Foundation, because I'm very passionate about the work that Steve Lansdowne does at Bristol Sport. I think he's doing a great thing. He talks about community engagement. We're part of his community. We thought we'd better engage. So we did.
Good point. It's quite simple when you look at it like that.
That's right. So we engaged with HIZS.
Yeah.
We met the first HIZS cohort. They came here to Avonmouth. It was kind of something that I'd got involved in. I thought, I'm going to disturb everybody working in Avonmouth. These lads are going to come down. People are going to look at me strange. And what are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, there was a queue of people to speak to these chaps when they came down to Avonmouth. All the team members had a great big grin on their face. The poor lads were buried in support and help to a point at which I was like, whoa, calm down. Let's not overwhelm them. Anyway, 5 of the members of that particular HIZS cohort are now have apprenticeships at Molson.
With you here?
5. So we got some end product. So we supported the HIZS program. So that worked really well.
People like that need a direction, a sense of direction. They might not be good academically, but they might be brilliant with their hands. They might have other skills. And this is the whole point about our industry. We are very much accepting of people with the right attitude, because we can teach the skills. Because the skills have to be taught, don't they?
I'm so glad you said that, Peter, because that's exactly where we are. This industry suits so much of our population. It's a great industry. It's very welcoming. It's got a fabulous community. But we don't need the academics. We don't necessarily need degrees. We don't need this, that. We want an attitude. That's what we want. We want a can-do, let's go attitude.
Team as well is the biggest thing about that, because you can't succeed in this industry without teamwork, because the excavator driver loads the dump truck or the high dreamer that we've just seen there. You know, the other people on the job site look at the data. You know, it's not a singular sport, this, as we talk about that. It's a collective group of people that are doing good work. And I always say, you know, it's the brains inside the machine are the operators, you know, but the mechanics that are looking after them are literally, you know, the medics of this world, you know. And when you look at it like that, you can feel the pride in what you're doing, can't you?
Oh, absolutely. And not just I feel a pride, but I know that the whole Molson team feels a pride in trying to support these apprentices through. They're a year and a half in. We're looking at our second cohort.
Yep.
It's worked really well for us. But when you talk about scale and leverage, as we did earlier, so HIZS is a great program, but it's run by all Premiership Rugby clubs.
Yep.
And
guess where you are? All over the UK.
Well, we are all over the UK, but guess where our suppliers are? They're also all over the UK.
Yes.
Guess where our customers are?
Yep.
They're also over the UK.
Yep.
We've engaged with one of our blue chip waste customers.
Yep.
And asked them to engage in HIZS.
Yep.
They have.
Brilliant.
They've 4 apprentices. They've got a HIZS program running with Harlequins in London. It suits them very well. That's great for them. Terex have engaged with HIZS in Leicester with their Colville plant.
Yep.
And they've had several apprentices and 1 full-time job come out of the back of that. But it's what the great news is that it's supporting the HIZS program and giving some outcome.
Yeah.
So it's allowing the HIZS to continue, and people are seeing the benefit and the value from that. And lo and behold, we're gaining more entrants to our industry, which is a key thing, because we know about the aging of the industry, and we know that we need to recruit new talent.
And the interesting thing as we walk down here into the decarbonisation zone, folks, is actually that talent, the jobs that we need to fulfil, might not have even been created yet, but we need to work towards the digital managers of the future, the digital engineers, and also the electrical engineers. Because as we spin round here, Robin, what's really excited me yesterday, because I love a bit of electric, is actually the models you see behind us. We've got the Senebogen here, but we've also got your brand new partnership piece as well here. So what really is interesting about what you're trying to achieve is the fact that you are looking outside of your industry. You talked about that earlier, about the car company that's come to you with the safety system. Now we're talking about partnerships with European specialists that actually can bring true electric, without cables to your customer groups, but actually in a real world scenario. So the blue one behind us, folks, you can literally lift the battery packs off, there's 3 of them, and you can then put another set of 3 battery packs on the top there.
So you can work 22 hours a day if you need to. If you've got the batteries, you can recharge them. You can recharge the batteries, funnily enough, at like a Tesla charging point.
Yeah, exactly.
And it is the first battery-powered solution that is
fit for purpose.
Fit for purpose in the real world.
And you've got a big machine like that, and when we're in places, and again, when we're partnering with European partners that have low emission zones already, like Amsterdam, for example, but equally, what you're doing there is they are real world machines that have had a lot put through them and therefore can do the work. But in big machines like this, we don't need them to be idle. Big machines always working. You know, the small little ones, it's little job, little trench, put away, all the rest of it.
And traditional battery power probably works quite well there.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at something like that HX260 Hyundai, that is, as you say, Peter, it's a big machine. It's a proper frontline heavy excavator. And it consumes a significant amount of power. And it's quite a challenge to work out how to do that. But here we are. We've got it done. So.
And over here, folks, let's come and walk to the signpost that matters for me, you know, when we're talking about the future, because yes, this is great. Come and join me, Robin, at the hydrogen moment that I discovered yesterday, which really is very exciting. Again, another partnership that you're going into where you're testing the power of hydrogen and actually all the mechanisms that you've got to deliver to your customers to actually make hydrogen a reality as well, because they're not just looking at you going, right, give us a hydrogen. What about the infrastructure? What about the support for the infrastructure? How do we partner with other people and things like that? It's really critical that we can come to that, can't we?
We have to engage at an early point through this hydrogen cycle to ensure we don't end up with a solution that does not work in the real world.
Exactly.
And that's where Molson understands we've got the scale to be able to have experts in-house, but also we understand what the customer's requirements are. I mean, it's absolutely no good to be, have hydrogen available at the high street filling stations. We can't be tracking our excavators down there. We've got to be sure that the people who are developing the advanced technologies that are going to allow us to decarbonise deliver it in a way that is usable for our industry and is suitable for the job that we do. We've got to be able to do it because construction has got a significant role to play in the decarbonisation. We have got to rebuild the grid. Yep. We've got to rebuild the power supply system in a renewable fashion. That is construction. So we've got a significant part to play, but it's got to be suitable for a real world use. And if Molson is anything, it's absolutely focused on understanding what the customer needs to do his job safely, sensibly, and efficiently.
And when I talk to a lot of the people in the tier 1 contractors, like National Highways, we're talking again about projects like the A12 already actually looking at different technologies that haven't even started digging yet, and how are they going to deliver these big projects. And I'm going to be following those big projects as well. How we introduce hydrogen, how do we do these different things? We have to do it in a step-by-step process where we actually have to do the real world hard work.
Yep.
Take the solutions to the sites, test them out, and make sure that the engineers and everybody else that supports them, how, one, they can keep electric going, but equally, how do we take away any of that fuss, because it's just hydraulic power that's been used. If you put the batteries to one side and put the diesel engine back in, it's still just that model. And so not creating stuff for stuff's sake.
Absolutely.
And so all of that comes into, the ecosystem. Well, we need this investment, and we need, therefore, this equipment to come in. Mm-hmm. We need National Highways and the likes of HS2 and the likes of all the tier 1s to test it for us.
Absolutely. The principle of early adopter is reasonably well established. Yeah. And the very first machines and the first solutions may not be absolutely as efficient. They certainly won't be as cheap to purchase.
No.
But we've got to start, because the first guy who built the diesel engine, the guy down the road on the steam engine, he was really impressed with his steam engine, but he couldn't understand what this diesel engine was. Absolutely. That's never going to catch on.
Oh no, it never will.
Steam is the way forwards. What's this newfangled paraffin engine? That's not going to work.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, these technologies will advance. They will deliver us a decarbonised future. We certainly need a decarbonised future if the news about the sea temperatures is anything to go by.
Absolutely.
It can't come soon enough, but it will be a process, and we have to move through that process with the early adopters and advancing technology stage by stage.
But we can't do that, Robin, unless, come with me, we actually have people.
Indeed.
Right, so we've talked a lot about plant, we've talked a lot about, how you're bringing in different communities and things like that, but, the people piece for me is absolutely critical. So, we're walking now, folks, towards something that needs people, which is the actual, machine maintenance area. And, people are the success of this business, and also the downfall if it doesn't work.
Absolutely.
So, what I wanted to understand, I think, is how you are investing in your own people and the legacy that comes from your investment, because that your people might end up elsewhere in the industry later on in their careers and things like that. But what's the career pathway? What's the things that you're doing?
In the United Kingdom now, we've got 105 mobile service engineers.
Right. Okay.
The big question is from all of our customers and from our competitors is how on earth where do you find this? How do you find these
magic them up?
Yeah. Where do they come from? Yeah. And the answer is they like working here. They want to work here because they're interested in the learning pathways that we set up.
Right.
They love upskilling and learning new skills. And interestingly, what might be perceived as a weakness in our breadth of product supply actually really helps in that space, because the service guys, the service technicians, love learning new skills.
Yeah.
And okay, so they've mastered the hydraulic excavator. I'd quite like to have a go on one of those large dump trucks, one of them rockbacks. Let me have a try at that. So I think it's a broad and varied workspace. we're committed to the concept of lifetime learning.
Yep.
We've been engaged in all sorts of programs over the last 15 years. 60 or 70 of us have been on the NLP training programs, which is often a residential course over 12 days. So we're just continually investing in the learning process of our entire team. And Peter, yesterday I was chatting to some people. Are you enjoying the day? Are you enjoying having your customers here? Yes, I am. Oh, what's the best thing? What do you like? Well, the one thing I'd really like people to take away from the open day, open 3 days, is the feel of our organization.
Yeah.
I don't need them to see this particular machine or that particular machine. That's great. That's what they need to see. But for me, the real core of it is who are Molson,
yep, and
what's the feel of the organization. And I was talking to James Prisk, who designed and worked on the patent of our Ag Reclaim, right, which is the first Molson built machine and our first patents. And the Ag Reclaim you can see about somewhere else. I'm sure Peter will put a video up about it or something. But I was talking to James, and he said, and James is an engineer, yep, so he's not necessarily customer facing.
Yep.
He's
zoned in engineer.
That's what we're talking about.
Elements of perfection. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, yeah.
So and he said, I love coming here. It's the second time I've come to this event. What I love about it most is the esprit de corps, and that was it for me, because I worked out how to explain what I was hoping people would take away from this, and that's the feeling of being involved in the Molson team. We're engaged in a common enterprise.
Yep.
And we work together to achieve our objectives.
And that can only be done by having great customers, having great suppliers, and having that sort of level of support and understanding about what people are trying to achieve. I mean, again, when I went to see the Bristol ports, they're talking about, yes, we've bought this new machine because we need to up the amount of transportations that are coming in from ships and things. We need to up our game, and we need to make sure that products are going out faster and faster. We can't keep up with the actual supply and demand. So another solution comes along, but that solution transition is really important when you come from the old one to the new one. You know,
and as you mentioned, Bristol Port bought a couple of large Zennebergen port handlers, and they're such a team build. Such a challenge. Yeah. They come in component form all the way from Zennebergen over in Germany, and it takes us a significant amount of time to build them, a lot of planning, a lot of safety, but we have to engage very closely with the customer, yep, and bring them along the pathway. And they're very much a team effort.
So folks, we've had a nice chat and a walk around in the sun here at Molson Group, and talking to Robin and finding out a little bit about, you know, what Molson's all about. And I think for me, having my experience of coming here for the first time over the last 2 days, what I've really seen is the fact that people are out there talking to you all the time, trying to, you know, help you make your decisions about what machines, what things are going on. And what's really exciting is when you're talking to people about the new technologies, the new electrification, there's a genuine feeling of super excitement around.
There is.
And that's what we need in our industry. We need excitement, we need education, we need great people, and all of it comes together when you're able to walk around and see the great, big and the small iron. Great to see you. Cheers.
Thank you very much for your time, Peter. Appreciate it.